Let's now take a look at our listener's question, which this week comes from Mark Law in Kings Park. Let's have a wee listen now.
Hi guys, Mark Law here for Kings Park. Big fan of the show. My question's this: Celtic have now scored 78 goals in their 25 league games so far. Over the next 13 games, can they beat the record for goals scored in a 38-game season, which is currently that of 106 goals scored by Brendan Rodgers' side in 2016-17 season? Cheers guys, keep up the good work.
Yep, so thanks to Mark for the question. As we know, Celtic are in fine goal scoring form at the moment, 78 goals in the 25 league games, and Mark's asking, can we overtake the record of 106 goals that Brendan Rodgers' side scored in the 2016-17 season? To do so, Paddy, we'll need to score 29 goals over the remaining 13 games, which would mean an average of 2.23 goals a game. What do you think?
So I was kind of thinking about just how the run-in goes, and we've all been kind of speaking since the obviously August, September. We look at some of the results we had, the 9-0 against the D United at Tannadice, and I've kind of been saying that I'm waiting in this team to go and pick another team off in the league. And I generally think, you look at the players that have all just kind of come in, the starting 11 has been fairly settled lately, and I think once we maybe start to see some of these guys coming in via the cup games, this is going to start making it a bit more exciting, because when they come on, they'll want to go and show everything. So I think the goals will probably start to ramp up a wee bit even more. I really do, especially with no in between midweek games as much as we've had with European football and stuff. I generally think they'll ramp it up even more.
We also know with guys like O coming off the bench, he's not there just to run down the clock, he's there and he's going to have a go at it. So the start reads that Sunday was the 13th time this season we'd scored 4 goals or more in a game, James. So we're clearly in good goal scoring form, generally speaking this season. Is the target of 106 doable?
I think it is. I mean, there's part of it is you're saying 13, but it's 10 to the title, and that can do funny things to players. I don't think it would do funny things to this team. We saw last season beating Motherwell 6-0 or 6-1 the last day of the season. So, they still drive, because I don't think you can bring an empty paycheck back home to Ange. It's just, you've got to keep on going. Looking to see more from Jota, Haksabanovic, Abada. Now, they're all back. There's no injuries between them. Jota in particular is, bang on form. Haksabanovic just a wee bit behind them. I thought Abada was poor yesterday when he came on. Cut a frustrated figure.
I think that was a park. Just the way that Abada plays.
I know.
He runs fast with the ball at his feet. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah, I'm a big Abada fan. I really hope it does. So that's where it's going to come from for me. Obviously, if Constantine wasn't having the worst game of his life yesterday, had a good chance of getting onto one there and get his first goal. But I think we can count on for probably between 5 and 10 goals between now and the end, and the rest contributing. And there's every chance we'll beat that target. Yeah,
Miff, what are the big factors that could prevent Celtic from beating that tally? So VAR. Injury to key players.
VAR.
Beat me at the punch, James. VAR.
Sorry, man.
Forensically checking every Celtic goal as we've seen, or anything else. What's
more pitches like McDermott Park? I would suggest.
You could hope as we come into
that's possible.
Slightly lighter weather.
But Celtic Park, by Angie's own admission, is maybe not as bad, but it's not in peak condition either. And we even saw Ibrox at the game at the turn of the year. I mean, the Ibrox pitch wasn't in a great condition either. It cut up really bad.
There was a pitch, there was players training behind the goal or warming up behind the goal down south.
Bolton. That was Bolton, yep.
They said, where did he train in Normandy?
It was bad. It was bad.
Brilliant. Just some more stats on the goals scored so far. So the 78 goals in the 25 games means that Celtic are scoring an average of 3.12 goals per game for the league season so far. If we keep that up, Paddy, I think we chatted before coming on here, if we keep that up, we'll land on 118 goals, or 118.56 to be precise, however that works. So we're on track certainly, but things get different as you get to the business end of the season. What I'd like to do is, as part of asking if you think we can achieve the record, I'm going to ask each of you for your prediction for what Celtic will land on goal-wise, just for a bit of fun, and we can revisit your answers towards the end of the season. So James, as I say, 78 goals at the moment, 13 games to go. What do you think the final tally will be?
104.
Oh, defeatist.
It's a no from me.
I'm going to say we'll equal it, 106.
Jeez, Paddy, give me some joy.
120.
and your 20-point lead.
And my 20-point lead. I tell you what, by the way,
I know.
Are you going 120? You taking a piss at me?
No.
So we'll go 120. I think
You'll owe me a pint if I get it, by the way.
Aye.
Tino covers that.
Of course.
Expenses.
I'll meet you somewhere there, Paddy. I think we'll blow it away. I think we'll get beyond 106. Maybe not to the dizzy heights of 120. I'm going to go somewhere safe-ish at 115. But I just think there's potentially someone else due a doing. You know, there's 4 goals there. I'm not saying we were in second gear against St Johnstone, but not at our best, not great conditions. We're going to have some games where we just click right into gear, whether it's at Celtic Park or otherwise, and there might be another 5, 6 or 7 on the cards, which really puts a big dent in that.
Can I see something on that? So obviously,
I don't know, it sounds ominous.
Well, I was thinking about this yesterday. We seem to be just blowing teams away in the first half. Do you think it's a deliberate ploy to switch it off a bit?
It's not us, it's the opposition.
No.
I noticed it against Livy and yesterday. It's like, right, we've got it to half time, we've lost the game. Let's try and not get an absolute bleaching.
Okay.
So there's no gaps to exploit. So the football kind of takes care of itself in that regard. It's not that we're not trying, but you're really blanketed then in terms of defence. It's weird. It's weird football to watch because you're paying for your 90 minutes. I'd like 245s, please.
It's not us, it's them, James.
It's definitely it's always
but
them.
There does seem a bit of that going on. First half, exciting, explosive, getting a few goals, and then less exciting in the second half. But that can be just a natural reaction. As an aside, so Celtic are on 70 points from the 25 games so far. I think you know the answer, Paddy, but the record for points after 38 games?
106 points.
106 also, again by the Invincibles in 2016-17. So if we win all 13 remaining games, we can finish on 109 points, so it's still there to be done. Miff, can we win all of those games? Will we?
We can, yes. Will we? Aye, why not?
Why not? That's the spirit. Where do you stand on that, James? Do you think we can go and take care of business 13 times?
Absolutely. No, I cannot wait for the 2 games against them and the cup game as well, because they're in some weird bubble and it's going to get blown right up. Absolutely cannot wait for those. You say somebody's going to get doing, could very likely be them. So I'd like to change my answer actually. 113 goals.
Yes, here we go. Here we go.
Fired up. You've gotten fired up.
7 coming against them in the final.
There's no reason why we don't go on and win every single game between now and the end of the season. Just the form they're on, relentless, and you see I said at the start of the show, it's the standards that have risen amongst the players themselves. Real interesting point Paddy made, that the players changed so quickly from fast football to slightly over the top football to combat that turf. They're starting to become a really intelligent, autonomous team with McGregor at the helm. So yeah, if we don't win every game between now and the season, I'll be really surprised. And I'm not usually that bullish because football's football, you know.
James, you're not intimidated by the Invincibles?
Oh, honestly, man.
No?
It's dire. You see any of their stuff? Jeez, you get football stopped, man.
Yeah. Barry, just final word to you. Do you think we can and will win all the 13 games?
Yeah, definitely. I think we can. I think, like I say, this is only starting to get a bit stronger for us again now, you know, and not that we've really been weak at all this season. I just think we're unstoppable at the moment. You kind of sorry to interrupt, you kind of go into some of the games and you're like, when are we going to get this game? It's going to be like on a knife edge. And I know some have, but of late, it's very, just get the job done.
Very comfortable.
Aye.
I think the stat reads that we've only lost one of the last 57 league games. So going back to September 21, that St Mirren defeat in September of 22 is the only defeat in 57 league games.
It's incredible.
It is incredible. So just to recap your suggestions or your predictions for goals. So Miff's going 106, Paddy's going 120. James has cranked it up from 104 to 113 on a whim.
Nice.
Just lost it for a minute.
Got my dander up.
And I'm back.
That's it.
You stopping on 120? You want to go off?
It's not player cards, right? We're not going higher or lower here. And I'm sticking on 115. So let's see. We'll revisit that at the end of the season. Another good question there for us to cover today. And thanks again to Mark for sending that in. Mark's been a big supporter of the show for a long time now, and we really appreciate his question. If you want to submit your question to us for discussion on any future shows, then you can do so in one of 3 different ways. Number 1, you can leave a voicemail directly on our website via the microphone icon on the bottom right of any page. Secondly, you can send us a message on social media at Twitter, Instagram or Facebook. And thirdly, you can email me directly on tino@thecelticexchange.com. Miff, you seem to be indicating they could give you a bell as well. Do you want? We'll post Miff's number on the show notes for anyone that wants to send Miff a private message. Anyway,
easy there, lads.
time for this
No
week.
pictures.
Time for this week in Celtic media.